Hello there, welcome to this video. I'm going to show you the full basics for Adobe After Effects CC. Please leave any feedback in case you find mistakes in pronunciation to help us. Check the video description for the index of what is explained here. Before starting, keep in mind that After Effects, since the CS6 edition, works just on 64-bit operative systems. Do not try to search or install it in 32-bit ones. After Effects is one of the best softwares used in video editing, in private and in business too. What differs between this and Adobe Premiere is the approach. After Effects focuses much more on effects in general. Its workspace is composed by three main parts: the preview, that is used to make you see how the project in progress is; the project window on the left, used to import and collect pieces of media used in your project; and the timeline set below, used to operate and edit your project. While working, you will open and close other windows. You can always find all the windows and open the closed ones by going on the bar above to Window. Then just click on the window interested. Let's start with a new project. Go to File, New, and then to New Project, if you don't have a new project opened by default. First thing to do is to drag all the files you are going to use here. These can be videos, sound files, or images as well, and are all called footages. To add them in your project, simply select them from your computer and drag them in the project window. The upload can be done faster selecting more than one file at once. You can select more files by holding Ctrl down. Just some notices. The project window has not the real files inside, but just a quick link to them. This means that if the original files imported are moved, After Effects won't be able to find them anymore, and such files will be shown in italic. To reopen the new location of files, just select them, right-click on them, and go to Replace Footage, and then to File. In the Browse window, just select the original file in its new location, and then go to Open. The file will go on working as before. Then save the project. Go to File and then to Save As, and select the location and name for your project. After Effects projects are recognized through their .aep format. Remember to save often in the future, just in case your computer or the software crashes. To work on, we need to understand the structure of the files. A project in After Effects is a collection of compositions or comp, always indicated through a frame icon. A project is composed by one composition at least, and this is created in the moment you drag the first file inside the timeline. Such collection will take the name of the file put. Then each composition collects other files inside, which can be any piece of media or other compositions. Compositions are managed like a simple file, with the difference that it collects more of them altogether. Remember that the order of suborders you can have in the project window changes nothing on what you actually have in the project itself. What counts for the project and the aspect of the final video is what is inside the timeline. Drag there a video, for instance. The video will occupy a row called Layer, whose preview is shown through the preview window. Very important is to rename each comp. In the future, especially in complex projects, you need to work with many comps, and if you give a proper name to them, you can manage them much better. Just select the comp in the project window, right-click and go to Rename. The project window shows you the files you are using. Open a file double-clicking on it. This will be shown in a new opened window with the title containing the name of the file. There are three files you can see here. The compositions that show you the overall files put together inside such comp. Then the footages. There are the single files opened from the project window. And then the layers, which are the files opened from your timeline. Mind that you can view just a single comp per time, the one shown in your timeline. In fact, the timeline shows the content and the full structure of the composition with the name shown in the top left corner. To open a comp, just double-click on it, and this will be shown in the preview window, and its structure in the timeline. Each comp does have its own independent structure, and files or comps inside such can be used in other comps independently. Let's come back to the preview window. You can zoom in and out through your mouse wheel. The current time location is indicated by the second gray slot at the bottom. Very important are the quality settings. In case your computer has low memory or processor, it is important to use low quality while working. The third gray slot is quality. Click on it to change it. Full sets the maximum quality, whereas quarter sets just 1 out of 4 pixels rendered per time. When projects are complex and the preview is being rendered, an orange bar will tell you how much time it takes to render. To play your comp opened, just press space from your keyboard. Just press it again to stop. It will be played the file that has been selected. If it's selected the preview window, that will be played, otherwise the timeline, if the timeline is selected. A selected window is recognized through a thin orange stroke on them. Let's focus on the timeline. On the left you have a full description of the layers that the opened comp has. Click on the eye to make the related layer invisible. Click on the loudspeaker to mute the layer. This can be done just on sound or video layers. Click on the circle to play the layer solo, with all the other layers muted. Enable the lock icon to lock the layer, so that you can see it, but not edit it in any way. Each layer then has its own color and name. Click on the colored icon to change its color. Right-click on the name of the layer and go to Rename to change it. By default, the name of the layer is the name of the file imported in brackets. Each layer has its position shown next to the layer color. The position sets the order of visibility. A layer that has a lower number is shown above layers that have a higher number. Click and drag a layer to change the related positions. During each comp, you will work inside the timeline. Once layers are set, they are shown through colored rows, all with the same height. You can choose to have the timeline in frames or seconds. To set this, just go to File and then to Project Settings. In Time Display Style, choose between frames or timecode. Zoom in and out the timeline, holding Alt down and using your mouse wheel. You can move a layer in time by clicking and dragging it on the left or right. Pay attention to the length. An image layer can be modified on its length without problems. Just approach its edges and drag them left or right. Songs and videos have a beginning and an end, and so you can just shorten their length dragging the edges. If you want to make this loop, just select the related file in the project window and right-click on it. Go to Interpret Footage and then on Main. At the bottom you find a value that tells you how many times it is looped. Just put an integer value higher than 1. If you use long footages in your comp, its length may be too much short. This means that you are not able to see where the file does end, and at a certain point you can't go on the right any further. In this case, you need to elong the comp. In the project window, right-click on the comp interested and go to Composition Settings. In this window, you can change anything related to the comp. Change the value in duration to make it longer. Below the time, you have the time ruler that selects a part of your timeline called Work Area. This area is important when you render the project. All that is outside such area won't be rendered. You can cut, copy, or paste a layer by selecting it and pressing Ctrl and X, Ctrl and C, and Ctrl and V from your keyboard. Use Ctrl and Z to undo the latest action anytime. On top you have the toolbar, used to edit your comp opened in the preview window. For example, use the lens icon to zoom in and out. Use the Hand tool to view better. The comp can be modified through the preview window in a very easy way. To select the right layer to edit, you can choose to select it through the preview window or the list on the left of the timeline. Visible layers, when selected, show anchors on the edges. Drag them to scale. Click and drag on the center to move. Use the rotation tool in the toolbar to rotate the layer. Each layer has its own properties that can be shown clicking on the gray arrow next to the layer color. Visible layers have the transformation section that sets opacity, position, scaling, and rotation angle related to the layer, seen through the preview window. Drag the numbers to change the values. Otherwise, just click once and insert the precise numbers. Use Reset to come back to the initial settings. Layers that have sound, such as videos or music, have the audio section. The waveform shows you how the sound is in time. Use audio levels to make it louder or less. If you want to learn how to put effects with After Effects CC, watch the related video in this show. Let's now see how to save and render your project. To save it anytime, just press Ctrl and S. After Effects projects in .aep format do save anything, such as placement in the timeline and in the preview window, effects and settings. These projects can be used as footages in other projects. Just drag the .aep files in the project window in the future and it will appear under a new folder with its files inside. To render the project, so to get the final video, open the Render Queue window that you can find in Window. Render Queue has the list of all the comps to be rendered. Open the comp interested in the timeline and go to Composition and then to Add to Render Queue. If you want to render your project, simply add the comp that contains all the footages. Each comp in the queue is described with name, status and time remaining. When status says queued, it means that it is ready to be rendered. Otherwise, some info is missing, so you must add them through the options at the bottom. To set the quality, just click on the arrow next to Render Settings and go to Custom. Watch the video in this show to know how to render in HD. Go to Output module to change the format and the size of the output video. You will need to choose .mp3 if you want to render just audio parts. Always check if audio render is enabled below Crop section. Then go to Output 2 to set name and destination folder for the video rendered. Then just click on Render to start. You can pause or stop it anytime. Mind that stopping a render will render an independent part of the video rendered. You won't obtain a unique overall video. It will be rendered just the part that falls inside the work area set. Very well, these are the very basics for Adobe After Effects CC. Watch the videos in this show to know how to render in HD and how to put effects and text. Thanks for watching.